Good day, students. Welcome to mathgotserved.com. In this clip, we're going to be going over section 5.1 on our series on dividing numbers in decimals. We're going to be looking at how to divide two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers in this presentation. The sample problem that we're going to be covering is depicted here, 63 divided by 3. How do you find that? Using the long division procedure. Don't forget, we have some practice problems at the end of this presentation for you to try out in order to demonstrate mastery of the contents of this tutorial. Alrighty, before we get started, we're going to take a look at the formula that relates to dividend, divisor, quotient, and the remainder. Okay, so the formula for a division statement is as follows. So the dividend is what comes first. Okay, the dividend divided by the divisor, what you're dividing by, will yield a number called the quotient, and sometimes you might or might not have a remainder, plus the remainder. All right, so dividend divided by the divisor is equal to quotient plus remainder. In this presentation, we are also going to be having you check your work to make sure that it's correct. And in order to check your work, you're just going to work backwards with this equation. You're going to take your quotient and you're going to multiply it by your divisor, and then you add your remainder if there are any. And that should give you your dividend. So this is how you check. Okay, just multiply the quotient by the divisor and add the remainder. If you end up with the dividend that you had in the original question, then your answer is correct. Alrighty, so keep that in mind. Okay, so instructions for the example that we're working on are for you to find the quotient. So the quotient is just a fancy way of saying divide. Okay, so don't let that word distract you. So find the quotient just means divide. So find the quotient of the given numbers with or without the remainder. Okay, so you're going to use long division to do this. Have to divide 96 by 3 using long division. All right, so to get us started, we're going to go ahead and write down the multiples of 3. Your 3 times table, the results from 1 all the way to 10. Okay, so let's do it. So it's 3 times 1, so let's do it real quick. It's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. I know for your skills drill you go all the way to 12, but we're just going to stop at 10 for this presentation. But this problem basically shows why it's important for you to take your skills drills seriously. You need to know how to multiply quickly, so it's easier for you to do your long division. Okay. All right. So the steps for long division are as follows. We are going to follow the following steps. You divide. Okay. You dividend by the divisor digits. You multiply the quotient digit by the divisor. You subtract that product from the dividend. You bring down the next digit of your dividend, and then you repeat. So these are the steps: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Let's put it in action. Long division coming up. So we have 96 divided by 3. When you want to write it in long division, the one that comes second is written first, 3, and then the dividend goes underneath 96. So this is 96 divided by 3. You kind of write it backwards. All right. Okay. And then just another way to help you remember this. 96 divided by 3. The number on the top is called the top dog, right? And then the number that goes underneath here, this is called the doghouse. The doghouse. So one acronym that helps students remember what goes where is that the top dog, or the number that shows up first, goes in the doghouse underneath the division bar. Okay, the top dog goes in the doghouse. All right, so hopefully that helps. Now let's go ahead and commence with our division process. We're going to use these steps here. So first is to divide. We're going to be taking it one digit at a time. Why? Because our divisor is a one-digit number. Okay, so we're going to take the first digit of your dividend, which is 9, and we're going to look at this divisor right here. What we're going to do is we're going to divide 9 by 3. Okay, how many times does 3 go into 9, or what is 9 divided by 3? If you don't know, you can think about your multiplication chart and you count by 3 until you hit 9 or the biggest number that's smaller than 9. All right. Oh, 9 divided by 3, check this out. It goes evenly. 3 times 3 is 9, so 9 divided by 3 is 3. It doesn't always happen, but this happens to be the case. So it's 3. So we just divided. Now multiply 3 times 3 as 9. That's a multiply. You multiply the quotient digit by the divisor. 3 times 3 is 9. Do you know what we'll do next? After you divide, multiply, the next step is to subtract. So you subtract, bam, 9 minus 9 is 0. Okay? Subtract, and then you notice 3 can't go into 0 because 0 is smaller than 3, right? We're now going to have to do what? Bring down the next digit of your dividend. Remember, it's one digit at a time. 0.6. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and guess what we're going to do? Repeat. Go right back to the top. All right? And then keep on going. All right, so we know we are at the last place value. If you have the last place value and that digit is smaller than your divisor, you're done. Okay, well in this case 6 is bigger than 3. In other words, 3 can go into 6 because 6 is bigger than it. All right, 3 cannot go into a number that's smaller than it. Doesn't make any sense. The smallest number that 3 can go into is 3 because 3 times 1 is 3. All right, so how many times does 3 go into 6? Or what is 6 divided by 3? 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? Why? Because 2 times 3 is 6. So if we divide 6 by 3, we put the answer up here. So we're dividing again. What are we going to do next? Multiply 2 from the quotient digit times the divisor. 3, 2 times 3 is 6. Put the answer underneath here. Okay, that digit of your dividend that you brought down. We multiplied, and now what we're going to do? Divide, multiply, subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay? There's nothing to bring down, and you notice 0 is smaller than 3. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are done. What are the significance of the different things that we have here? What we just got, let's just highlight that. 32 is your quotient, okay? And 0 is your remainder. In this problem, we have no remainder. Okay, so what's our answer? Let's go ahead and write down our answer. 96 divided by 3 is 32. Whole number, remainder 0. There is no remainder. Okay, so whenever you have 0 as a remainder, you just focus on the quotient part. Just write only that. Remainder 0 is not necessary. So your answer, 96 divided by 3 is 32. Let's box that. You're also expected to check your work to make sure it's correct. So remember, the opposite of divide is multiply. So we're going to work our way back from the answer to the question. So let's go ahead and do a check. All right, we went over this in the formula. All you do for your check is you multiply your quotient by your divisor and add the remainder if you have any. In this case, we don't have any, okay? So quotient, the answer we got, times the divisor, which is 3, what you divided by. Now you're going to multiply your answer by that, okay? 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Now, how does this make you feel? You should be excited because this number matches the dividend exactly. Bam. So it checks out. There's no remainder to add. Or if you add 0, it doesn't change anything. So we know for a certainty that our answer is correct. All right, let's move on. Question number 2. 75 divided by 2. Our divisor is 2. Let's write down our multiples of 2 from 1 all the way to 10, just to refresh our memory. Hopefully you remember all your multiplication facts for 2 from 1 all the way to 12. You should be able to do that real quick. All right, so let's write down real quick. So 2 times 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2, 3, 6, 2, 4, 8, 2, 5, 10, 2, 6, 12, 2, 7, 14, 2, 8, 16, 2, 9, 18, 2, 10, 20. All right, so there goes our multiples of 2. That's going to help us divide quickly. Okay. All right, so we're going to repeat the same steps that we did earlier. You know what the drill is: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. So what is 2? Remember, the number that comes first, that's the top dog, that goes in the doghouse. Bam. And the second number comes first. All right, let's divide. 2 divided by 7. I'm sorry, 7 divided by 2. So if you take a look at your multiplication chart right here, there is no 7. So what do we do? What is 7 divided by 2 if there's no 7 here? We have a remainder. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the biggest number smaller than 7. That will be the answer. And then we'll go from there, okay? So 7 divided by 2, the closest number is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So we're going to use 6. You can go bigger, okay? You can add stuff you don't have. So we're going to go with 6. So 2 times 3 is 6. So 7 divided by 3 by 2, we're going to put 3 here because we're using 6. 3 times 2 is 6. We chose 6 because it's the biggest number that's smaller than 7. All right? Okay. Now, it doesn't go in evenly because there's no 7 here. All right? There is a 1 extra. So basically, if you divide 7 by 2, you're going to have 3, and there's going to be 1 left. All right? So we just divided. So divide. And then multiply. We multiply 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we're going to subtract. That's the next step. And you see that right there? Bam. That's the reason why 7 doesn't show up in the multiple of 2. Okay? Because there's an additional 1 that's added. 2 does not go into 7 evenly. That's why we picked the number before it, which is 6. And we use that instead. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so now, obviously 2 can go into 1 because 1 is bigger. We're going to bring down and repeat. So bring down the 5. All right, now, how many times does 2 go into 15? Well, what is 15 divided by 2? Based on the divisibility rules we went over in the previous presentation, 5-0, remember that 2 goes into only even numbers. And since 15 is odd, we know that 15 is not divisible by 2. Okay? Now take a look at your chart, our list of numbers here, multiples of 2. Do you see 15? No. So what are we going to pick? Are we going to pick 16 or 14? We're going to pick 14, right? Because we don't have enough numbers to go to 16. So you pick the biggest number that's smaller than what you have here. And we're going to use 14 instead. Okay? So the biggest factor of 2 that's closest to 15, the biggest factor of 2 smaller than 15 is 14. So we're going to use that. How many times does 2 go into 14? Or what is 14 divided by 2? This is 2 times 7, right? So it's 7. So we're going to use 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. That's our division step. Now we're going to multiply 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Multiply, and then we're going to subtract. Bam. So remember, divide, multiply. We just multiplied, and now we're going to subtract. Subtract 50 minus 4 is 1. Bam. Now, what do you notice here? This number is in the last position, and it's smaller than 2. 2 cannot go into a number smaller than it. If you look at the multiples of 2 here, the smallest multiple of 2 is 2. So the numbers that 2 can go into are 2, 4, 6, 8, and go up and up. Anything bigger than 2, 2 can go into it evenly or unevenly. All right? So what does that mean? It means that we are done. This number 37 is our quotient. And then this one that we have here, guess what that is? That is our remainder. In this problem, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a remainder. That means that 2 doesn't go into 75 evenly. Answer 75 divided by 2 is 37, whole number. Remainder 1. Okay, that's your answer. Now we're going to check to make sure our answer is correct. So to check our division, we're going to multiply. Let's go ahead and do the check real quick. So 37, we're going to take our quotient and multiply it by the divisor, what you divided by. Now you're going to multiply the answer by that number. 2 times 7 is 14, 4 carry 1. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1, 7. Oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. This number 74 does not match our dividend. Do you see what's missing? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a remainder, which is 1. We talked about it in the formula, okay? The quotient times the divisor plus the remainder should give you the dividend. Since there's a remainder here, we must add that on to the product before we compare. What is 74 plus 1? 75. Jackpot. We have a match, 75, 75. That shows that our answer is in fact correct. All right, now we're going to move on to the next example, the last one, and give you some practice problems after that. All right, now we're going to do this one a little bit quicker since we are now experts in long division. So for question number 3, what if we want to divide 97 by 5? 97 divided by 5. What's the answer to that? 97 divided by 5. Let's start off by writing down our multiples of 5. First 10, 5, 5, 1, 5, 5, 2, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That's 5 times 8, 5 times 9 is 45, 5 times 10 is 50. Bam. You all know this, right? Let's go ahead and divide. So we have, the question is 97. As a top dog goes in the doghouse, divided by our divisor is outside. Okay, we're going to go fast through this, okay? 5 goes into 9. How many times? There is no 9 here, so the biggest factor that's smaller than 9 is 5. So we're going to use 5, okay? 5 divided by 5 is 1. Divide. Multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. Divide. Multiply. Remember what comes next? Subtract. Subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. Divide. Multiply. Subtract. And do what next? Bring down. Bam. 47. Repeat. How many times does 5 go into 47? Well, oh, we have a multiplication chart up here. There's no 47 here. 47 is between 45 and 50. So which one do we pick? We pick the factor of 5 that's the biggest factor of 5 that's smaller than 47, which is 45. We're going to use 45. Okay, 50 is too big. All right, so what is 45 divided by 5? Multiplication chart, we know 45 is 9 times 5, right? 9 times 5, so it was 9. All right, so we're going to divide 45 by 5, which is 9. That's divide. After you divide, you multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. Divide, multiply. What do you do next? Subtract. Divide, multiply, subtract. 47 minus 45, 2. Now, 5 cannot go into 2. This is the last digit. There's nothing else to bring down. And the last digit is smaller than 5. 5 cannot go into it. The smallest number that 5 can go into is 5. Okay? So what does that mean? We're done. This number up here, 19, is your quotient. And 2 is your remainder. So let us write down what the answer is. 97 divided by 5 is 19, remainder 2. Bam, there you have it. Now let's go ahead and check to make sure that our answer is correct. How do we check? You just take your quotient, multiply it by the divisor, and add your remainder if there are any. Okay, so our quotient is 19. Multiply that by the divisor. What were we dividing by? What were we dividing by in this problem? We're dividing by 5, so we're now going to multiply by that. Remember, the opposite of division, or the inverse operation of division, is multiplication. Okay, 5 times 9, 45, 5, carry 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4, 9, 95. Do not forget to add your remainder, which is 2. 97, jackpot. That is exactly what our dividend is. Check, check. Our answer is correct. All right, now it's your turn to do some practice problems. All right, so what we'd like you to do at this time, go ahead and pause this video presentation and then try out these 3 practice problems. As soon as you're done, hit on the playback button and we are going to reveal to you what the correct answers are. Alright, so go ahead and pause the video this time and get started. Alrighty, welcome back. So here are the solutions to questions 1 to 3. Go ahead and check your work. How well did you do? If you got them all right, go ahead and destroy that like button. If you got any questions wrong, try and review it. If you have any questions about what you got wrong, specify it in the comment section below, or you can ask your teacher. We'll be more than glad to assist you. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. Don't forget to help support our channel by subscribing and liking the video. Tons of support resources can be found at mathgotserved.com or the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching and have a fantastic day. Goodbye.